So our God he is strong, and he fights our battles, and he tells us to suit up, and he tells us to combat, the evil in this world, but he also has fun, and he also is the God of laughter, and he created all of that. Welcome to A Home That Heals. I'm Bree along with my mom Dee, and I'm wondering if I'm the only one who has realized she isn't the fun mom she always dreamed she'd be. Today, we're hoping to find the fun again, even when it's not the way you thought it would be.
But first, remember, we're here to encourage you in this role that God has given you. You know your kids better than anyone. You're the expert when it comes to your family, and God will equip you with the tools to do this. So enjoy the ideas that we're about to explore, but keep this in mind, you were made for this. You have said to me many times, I just want to be the fun mom. And I can remember you being a little girl, and that was your goal in life, was be the fun girl, be the one that brings the party, makes everything fun. You would have these dance parties, and I never forget our little neighbor when we first moved into this house when you were about 7 years old. And she was kind of shy, kind of quiet, and she'd come over, and you'd go over to the stereo. We had a stereo back then, and you'd crank it up, and we'd start dancing. And she'd look at us like we were nuts. And I always thought, that's right, probably not all families do this. But eventually she joined in a little bit.
Yeah.
And it was fun because it is contagious when you start to do those kinds of things and you're laughing and you're making fun of yourself. And that's just been you. And I know that you want to be a fun mom.
Yeah, I always pictured myself being the fun mom, the one that had dance parties every day, who made chores, some fun game, who was constantly laughing and enjoying life, just having that type of home that was full of joy. And I have to say, the way it's turned out, my husband's the fun one. He gets to be the fun dad, and I don't feel like I get to be the fun mom because it is. I'm with the kids the most. I'm the disciplinarian the most. I'm the one that, has to check the boxes, make sure that we get stuff done, the stuff that needs to get done. And it's funny how I think, as a kid, what I'm realizing is you have so few tasks, so few things that are looming in your mind of what needs to get done that you have time to make everything fun, where as you grow up, as you're doing chores, you're also thinking of the 100 other things that have to be done. Or I'm going to be honest, what's really, I think, been a trip up for me lately is just, and we tackle them here on A Home That Heals, and we're going to tackle them even more this year. We are dealing with hard stuff. Like, I don't get to live in La La Land anymore. The culture war is real. The war on our kids is real. The things that we have to think through and have to try and protect our kids from and have to try to, be proactive about, all of this is heavy stuff. And
it is.
It's hard. Yeah. Honestly, it's just hard. So when you're so focused on that, and not even so focused on that, but when it's just coming at you from every direction, it's really hard to just be fun and live in the moment.
Let your guard down.
And let your guard down, have a good time, because those are in the back of your mind. But that's what Satan wants, right? He doesn't want my home to be fun. He doesn't want my home to be this joy-filled place, because then he can entice and pull my kids away and say, look over here. This is the life over here.
Right.
This is fun. This is how you have a good time. And I want to fight against that. I want my home to be the most joyful, fun place for my kids to grow up so that they realize that's a lie. I can have fun. I can have a great time, and I don't have to engage in all that. I don't have to get, wrapped up in that, because I know how. My mom has shown me how to have a good darn time doing chores and how to have a good time, just doing ordinary life stuff. But I've really been hit with the reality that is not who I am. I am not the fun mom.
And that's a disappointment to you. I mean, you're kind of laughing through that, but I know that really bothers you. And I bet it bothers so many moms, because you're right. You have had to worry about things with my grandkids, and I have to worry about things with my grandkids that I never dreamed in a million years I would have to face with you guys. And it makes me angry, actually, and it makes me very frustrated, because it sucks the energy, the life, the laughter out of the room when those things are bearing down on you. You're going to have to, I mean, I hate to tell you, you're going to have to work as hard at having fun probably as you do at all these other things we talk about having a home that heals. I mean, you just probably need to face the fact that fun is hard. Mm-hmm. I was telling the kids in my life skills class today about this book, I read years ago, and still lots of people have read it, A Road Less Traveled. The first line is, life is hard. So, hun, fun is hard. I think it's going to be hard.
Yeah, I do too. I think it is. However, I know that our God is a God of fun. I know that he's the one that invented it. So again, if we lean into him and we start finding our joy in him and being able to, yes, we have to, girls, we got to get on the battlefield and we've got to start suiting up. So we're going to talk about that. But once we put our armor on, once we get out on that battlefield, we also can look to him and look at his awesome creation that I love. Grady was just mentioning about the animal kingdom, and we've been learning so much about animals, me and the kids, and it is a crack up. I mean, these animals that God created, and they're hilarious.
Let's just go out the backyard and look at the alpacas. Honestly, I've been trying to, me and my art stuff, I try to draw alpacas. I've been trying to draw a more sophisticated looking alpaca, a little more fine arts driven alpaca. And you know what? You can't do it. They're just so goofy looking.
Umbrea with her buck teeth. I tell you what, she is just a hoot. And we keep telling my daughter, if you keep sucking your thumbs, you're going to have Umbrea's teeth. And she doesn't seem to have a problem with that. So I hope that there's a man out there that's going to like her buck teeth someday and want to marry her. But I love that our God is a God of fun. Yeah. And so our God is a God of, he is strong, and he fights our battles, and he tells us to suit up, and he tells us to combat, the evil in this world, but he also has fun, and he also is the God of laughter, and he created all of that. And so we can learn how to be fun, even though it's going to be hard. One thing, I just really believe that this is something that he has made me more aware of, and that I really want to focus on this year, is just speaking to my children, talking to my kids, being the person that God created me to be. We talk a lot about our kids, helping them be who God made them to be.
Right.
But, that is part of who I am. God did make me to be a person that loves to have fun. I love lifting others up. I love walking into a room and looking for a way to try to add some life into the room, but I haven't viewed it that way in my home. I haven't viewed it as, I think I've thought it more of how do I correct my kids? How do I, not necessarily how do I walk into a room and lift them up and make them laugh and make them have a great time. And they've even mentioned, I've had my kids and I've had friends mention that know me really well that I've got an out and about voice and a normal voice. And that makes me so sad, because the voice I use with the people I love the most, I want to be the one that is uplifting and cheerful and joyful. And I know I can't always be that. I don't want to should on myself too much, because I want to realize that, we're going to walk through times in our life that we just can't lift everyone else up because we're barely lifting ourselves up off the floor. But we don't have to stay there. We don't have to stay on the floor. We don't have to stay in that space. We can draw close to the Lord, and he does. He lifts us up, and even in our times of sorrow, we can find joy, and we can be the one that comes into the room and adds some cheerfulness, some life, and adds some fun, and looks for ways to help our kids see that in life, even when things are hard, we can have a good time and we can find joy in the Lord.
I want to ask you a question. Have you ever asked the Lord to help you be more fun?
I have not. No.
Because it kind of struck me as you were saying that. We ask the Lord to help us be more faithful, be more kind, maybe, or be, a better this or that. But just to be fun, it almost sounds like, why would I, that's such a frivolous thing. But really, if you think about it, that's one of the things that does bring life into the room, does bring life and light into an atmosphere. And almost every atmosphere you go into where that is present, there is someone who is the catalyst, because laughter, joy, being able to kind of see the sense of humor in things, that's contagious. And once one person starts doing it, then another person. A good example, did we tell the story about when your brother had that really terrible skiing accident and Sean Hancock, who's been a visitor of ours before, came to the hospital room?
Oh, we did not. And when we had that episode with Sean, I think it's episode 204, and I wanted to tell that story, but I don't think we did. And that is such a good story.
It's such a good example of what you're talking about, don't you think? And you tell it better than I do. So go ahead.
Okay. So my brother had a really horrible snowboarding accident when he was in high school. And he was sent to the hospital, and we won't go into, I'm sure we'll go into that another time, but this was really bad. It was really scary. I think there were some hours that, you guys were really concerned about major brain damage, and there was a somber feeling in the room as you waited to just kind of find out what was going to happen.
And as we went along, a lot of his friends started to show up at the hospital. And it got to the point where we really were just kind of in that waiting mode and waiting to hear a little bit more. And so it was, the room was, there was no laughter in the room at that point.
Yeah, there was no joy. There was no, it was just a lot of prayer, a lot of, I think there was a lot of hope and a lot of trust in the Lord, but it was definitely somber. And so Sean walks into the room, and because at that time we were all going to the same church together. And so he had heard about this, and he came and sat down next to Chase and, started talking to him and bringing, words of encouragement. But then all of a sudden he said, you know what? I can just picture Chase's guardian angel. Just like, okay, man, here we go. We're going to suit up today because Chase is going to do some stupid stuff. And I don't remember everything that he said, but he just went into this whole narration of this guardian angel and what he was thinking and how he was protecting Chase from all these really dumb things he was doing.
But the one dumb thing he didn't do is he had his helmet on. And so I want to just insert that, because that helmet, and Chase will tell the story, he didn't have his helmet on before that run. And right before he did that run, he said, that still small voice said, put your helmet on. And he did, and it saved his life. But anyway, going back to Sean's story.
So good job, brother. But I think, even in the midst of darkness, even in the midst of sorrow, concern, worry, there is a way that laughter and joy can be inserted. And we know, there's even studies now that show the healing effects, and how if people are laughing and, able to have that kind of experience as they're walking through different treatments and stuff, they're more likely to they're more likely to heal. And so it's awesome that we have evidence of that now. But of course we know that, because that is our God. Like, that is...
It's even in the Bible.
It's even in the Bible.
It's in Proverbs, laughter is the best medicine. We talked about that with Sean. And I don't know what role that played in your brother's situation, but I do know this. He's fine today. Praise the Lord.
Yeah. And he is somebody who loves to find laughter and joy and things, even when stuff is difficult. So I think, that was such a good story. And that was kind of one of our first encounters with Sean, and just a great memory of how laughter can be the best medicine, just like the Bible says.
So you're on a quest, it sounds like. This is one of your 2023 goals.
Yeah. So, if you have any ideas of how it can be more fun, you can just send those to, info@ahomethheals.com, Facebook or Instagram, please, because I could use all the ideas I could get. But I want to be more fun. I want to bring that spirit, that energy into our home. And so I hope 2023 can do that. And I hope if you're struggling with that too, maybe let me know I'm not alone.
Good idea.
Just send me a message. Let me know.
Oh, that's really bringing us to a close here to say, we just want to be in touch with you. We want to hear what you're thinking as you listen to these podcasts. And if this one has sparked something in you, then definitely be in touch with us. You can find us on Instagram, on Facebook. You can either DM us or you can, just make a comment, and we'll really try to address the things that you're thinking about too. That's how we form a community, right here on A Home That Heals.
A Home That Heals is produced in partnership with 89.5 KTSY. To find out more about them, go to ktsy.org.